Okay, well, it's Vancouver Prepper for a Canadian Prepper channel, or Vancouver Prepper, depending on which one I upload this video to. But I just wanted to show you guys some really cheap buys you can get at Dollarama, which is a Canadian dollar store, because this is a Canadian Prepper channel. But you probably have something like this same stuff in the States if you're watching from the US. Okay, so this is a $3 little bin I got. It's all plastic, and it's got these cool clasps at the top, so and like a handle. And I'm going to be using paints for art supplies for me, but you could use this to make a small little kit for, you know, with candles and some food and stuff if you had to grab something. Or another good idea for this would be to put your first aid gear in it, and so you could have sort of a medium-sized first aid box. Not for your bug-out bag, but, you know. And then I got this Voltax super bright LED lantern. You can see $3. So it flips, something that flips up there so it stands alone. And then of course it's just like a big flashlight, and it comes with batteries. And I'm going to open it and show you guys what it's like. Okay, well, this is my little Voltax super light. It's probably not very good quality, but for $3, you know, for something, just you could even make a special little kit for a friend or somebody who won't prep. And for $3, you know, it's got 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, quite a few lights there, and 5 there, and okay, so 7 there and 5. And then you open this part up, and you got, this is where you put your batteries in here. Okay guys, well, there's a button on the side here. I turned the light off, and you press that and it goes off, and you press it, and you know, you could set it up like this. I'll just set it up and show you. So pretty bright, right? And you press the button again and it turns to flashlight mode. So I do recommend getting good batteries and storing them in the freezer. Don't use the crappy, or the, you know, the ones that come with this little flashlight. And it does feel pretty flimsy, like if you drop it, it will break. So I do recommend, if you have the money, getting yourself a good, you know, lantern with some proper, really big batteries. But if you're really low on money and you don't have any sort of light source, just for $3 you can't go wrong, and having something's better than nothing. Okay guys, well, I got this little light ages ago, so it came in a box. I also got it at Dollarama. It's got an adjustable head that clicks like that. It goes in different directions, and I'll turn it on for you. It was $3. I believe it was the same brand as the one I just opened, the Voltax. So it's where the hardware stuff is, and the little flashlights and stuff in Dollarama. This one came in a box. The other ones tend to come just in plastic, the plastic clamshell casing. But here you go. It's very bright. It still has the original batteries it came with. I don't use it very much, but, you know, this could be a good reading light. And I've seen little lights like this. You know, you can see them on Amazon, and they'll want like $20 for a little light that takes batteries. And at Dollarama, you can get one for $3. I have been to Dollar Tree, which is everything's $1.25 or so in Canada. I would recommend going to Dollarama and paying $3 for a light, because the ones, even though they're a little bit flimsy compared to, say, a Duracell, or which you're going to pay $40 for, they're still way better than the Dollar Tree lights for $1.25. So just a couple bucks or $1.50 difference seems to make a big difference. And I had several of these. I haven't seen them in a while. They came in a box. I would get this one for like a couple of these for like little reading lights, and some good AA batteries, and keep the batteries in the freezer. And of course I'll teach you guys later how to make oil candles from just oil and stuff. But so yeah, this one I prefer, and I had a few other lights that were also Voltax. This little blue one that I showed you earlier, so far it feels flimsy. But I do like that it's got the function where it can stand and you can hold it, and that's cool. But maybe get a few, like one a month or something, and some batteries. And you can always barter these in an emergency, because a lot of people might not have flashlights of any kind, so they might give you something cool like a knife or a crab trap or whatever you want. Because people really need light in emergencies, and batteries too, so you can really barter those. This one is this was $1.25, and you know it's got a moves and it's kind of dusty. I got this years ago, and you have to unscrew the bottom. It takes cell batteries. For $1.25, especially if you want some extra lights to barter for cheap, maybe grab a few of them, because you know $1.25 and you got light, and it seems to last for a while. Okay guys, another thing that you can get at Dollarama is just like this Pure Valley vegetable oil. It's only $2 there. You can see, well, you could use vegetable oil for cooking, for making bannock, but also you can use it to make oil candles or oil lanterns, and there's lots of videos on YouTube about how to make your own oil candles and oil lanterns. So it's much cheaper than buying emergency candles, but those are also a good deal, because not everybody wants to try and learn a new skill in the middle of a catastrophe. But get some vegetable oil. Something like this is $2. You can get a lot bigger if you go and buy it in bulk at a place like No Frills or Walmart. So, you know, decide how much you actually really need, you know, if you've got a big family or if you're just one person. But you're going to have to decide based on how much money you have and how much you want to spend on oil at any given time. The pro of buying slightly smaller is that you can barter, you know, a small bottle like this. So that's something to. Okay guys, well, I got this little lantern. It's for, I've got the candle in there is too big, but it's for a tea light, and it's got glass, you know, right here, and you can hang it up like from a tree or something. I spent like $4.50 on it at Army and Navy downtown Vancouver a few years ago. It's a good idea if you're kind of a little bit nervous about having open flame in a disaster situation. Again, if I haven't said so in this video, have a fire extinguisher or know where there's one on your property, and have quick access to it. For $1, I recommend just grabbing a bottle of alcohol. This is not alcohol you can drink, obviously. It's for disinfecting surfaces. You can also use it, I've seen some videos on how to make pepper spray with isopropyl alcohol and cayenne pepper powdered in a spray bottle. So it's basically just this stuff, cayenne pepper mixed into it, put in a regular Mr. bottle, and it works as an impromptu pepper spray if you're attacked. And you could use it to sterilize wounds if you had to. It's not the best thing to sterilize wounds with, but it's in a disaster, you don't want to risk an infection, so this is good. Okay guys, well, this is a little emergency stove I got at Army and Navy, and I've used it a few times. It's already rusting up a bit, but it runs about $5, and you just open it up. You put a fuel tablet right there, and you can just rest your pots or whatever. Okay guys, well, another thing I recommend you get is tinned fish. It lasts forever and a good source of protein. You're not going to want to be eating tons of carbs and sugar and getting weak in a disaster. These are 85 grams, or wait, no, this one's 100 grams, but drained, water drained off, it's 85 grams. They run about $1.69 in most grocery stores. I got these for a whole bunch at Army Navy recently, a sale they were having for $1 plus tax, so really good price. I've seen them at Dollarama. I get the seafood snacks because I'm not a big fan of the sardines, but these are herring fillets. They run $1.25 at Dollarama, so I suggest picking some of them up for yourself. Now these are Jameson odorless garlic pills. They're 500 milligrams of the compound in garlic, which makes it a natural antibiotic, and it's 300 capsules. I paid about $8.99 at Shoppers Drug Mart on sale for these. I take them just to keep my health up. If in an emergency situation, if you had a cut and you found it was getting a bit infected, you could take some of these and to help your body fight off the infection. It's a natural antibiotic. So garlic pills are something I think everybody should have on hand for a disaster. Okay, well, I got this Coughlins or Coughlins Pack 2 first aid kit. It comes in a plastic telescopic sort of little container. It's just got some alcohol wipes. I think there's some tweezers in there and some bandages. What I like about it, I'll show you, is that it's very thin. But you can put your own stuff in there. You could add some allergy pills, some whatever. But it's so thin, it's great for a bug out bag if you just had to leave suddenly. So I got it about a few years ago for about $5, $6 at Army Navy. And if you have an Army Navy near you, like you live in Vancouver, definitely check it out. Check out their camping stuff, because they've got a lot of stuff you could use for disaster preparedness. So between Dollarama, thrift stores, flea markets, Army Navy, I think those are the best places. For cheapo food, you're going to get a lot of GMO stuff at Walmart, but for just to get you through the first couple weeks if you couldn't fish or go foraging, maybe check them out. I don't really want to put that junk in my body, but you could barter some of it too. Just do your best, guys. Really, just do your best, and don't try not to stress, because it's not going to help. But don't put it off. Don't put prepping off, because that's what almost everybody's doing, and that's part of why when there is a collapse, it's going to be so bad. So every couple of days, just add to it. A couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. Over time, it will add up, and you'll have a lot of supplies you can use to barter. You can use for an emergency, and that'll make a big difference. One thing a lot of people forget about is entertainment, and this is an old Game Boy Color my sister got me, and I was given recently some games for it, and it just takes AA batteries. So maybe pick up some old video game consoles that take AA batteries and some old games, so you have something to do if you're a big video gamer. Because most of the more modern ones, they require, to be plugged into your computer and something like that. But in a disaster, something that uses AA batteries, like an old audio cassette player or one of these old Game Boys, that's great. So sometimes old school, when it comes to disaster preparedness, is the way to go. Okay, one thing that a lot of preppers forget is that in an emergency, the internet might be down, or you might have to leave your home or whatever. But books are going to be, especially books that have practical real-life information that you can use. I got this at Vancouver Public Library. They're always selling books. They sell them for about 50 cents each, and they've got a whole bunch of like reference type books. And like this one's 109 Walks in British Columbia, but it's got maps of different provincial parks and stuff. This could become very useful in an emergency if you had to go camp out in a park or something like that. So I've got books on birds, on plants, and all sorts of stuff you can find for sale at used bookstores, at thrift stores. Look for that stuff. Sometimes you can find it for dirt cheap. Another thing is that in a disaster, you want to try and stay as calm as possible and try not to get depressed. So you're going to want to have stuff like, board games, cards, or whatever. So you can pick up, old board games, make sure all the pieces are there, but at some thrift stores, $2 or $1, and you'll have something to do for hours. Get some playing cards, get some of those little Sudoku books where you do Sudoku or crossword puzzles, anything like that to keep your mind occupied, because you don't want to just be sitting at home stressing out and getting sicker and sicker. Stress is a really bad killer, and you want to stay as calm as possible. This is something I don't see talked about very much, but this is just a rubber plastic tubing I got from Home Hardware. And in the event of a major disaster, you could use this to siphon gas out of a car, for instance, stalled on the highway. Whatever. You need a tube or a hose to siphon gas, and it's dirt cheap to buy it and very light to just pack it in a bag, and it can make the difference between being able to continue cross country, for instance, on a motorcycle or something, or not. So just grab some hose. Why not? I got this polypropylene rope at Dollarama for $1.25, and they have tarps there, some really good thick tarps for $3 for a fairly large tarp. And if you don't have a tent, grab some of this rope and grab one of the big $3 tarps, or grab 2 of them, and you can make yourself an impromptu tent at almost anywhere that there's trees for $7.25, and pack it very light.